Mystery at Blind Frog Ranch. Morning mist blanketed the Utah landscape, still and silent. The sun had barely risen, casting a pale gold over the high desert terrain of Blind Frog Ranch. Below the surface, a secret waited, buried beneath layers of water, stone, and time. The team arrived early. Trucks rumbled over gravel, trailers creaked open. Equipment was laid out in methodical silence. Wetsuits, dive tanks, reels, high-lumen underwater torches, and waterproof sonar drones. Every move was calculated. Every step rehearsed. They weren't here for rumors. They were here to uncover what had been hidden deep within the flooded cave system under the ranch. The entrance lay in the shadow of an old sinkhole, surrounded by jagged rocks and gnarled cottonwood roots. A narrow crevice in the earth, barely noticeable unless you were looking for it. But they knew exactly where it was. Harnesses tightened. Flippers snapped on. Regulators clicked into place. With one final gear check, the first diver descended into the blackness. The water was cold, icy, even through the wetsuit. Visibility dropped quickly as silt stirred with each motion. The diver switched on the torch. A narrow beam pierced the murk, illuminating the limestone walls. Stalactites hung like teeth from the cave ceiling, motionless and ancient. He followed the line, spooled out slowly, methodically. Behind him, the second diver entered. Then the third. A trio tethered by training, skill, and trust. 20 feet down. Then 30. The cave opened wider. Strange etchings appeared on the walls, carved deeply into the rock. Ancient markings, native glyphs, or something else entirely. No time to stop. They pressed forward. At 50 feet, the cave split. One path veered sharply left, narrowing to a crawl. The other sloped downward into darkness. The sonar drone deployed. It hovered, whirring quietly, mapping the layout in real time. The downward tunnel pulsed on the display. Large chamber ahead. Possibly air pockets. Possibly more. The divers continued down, following the path as it curved and dipped. Strange metallic glints reflected off the beam. Small, deliberate artifacts scattered in the sediment. Rusted buckles, fragments of timber, corroded coins. Spanish markings. 17th century. Treasure. But not just any treasure. Evidence of a transport, long ago. Possibly one of the lost shipments of silver and gold, rumored to have vanished in the region during the era of New Spain. History whispered through the still water. The chamber opened up at 70 feet. A dome of hollow stone. Pockets of trapped air glistened above. The floor sloped gently downward to a mound harshly buried in sediment. The lead diver moved closer, brushing aside layers of mudwood. Blackened and swollen. A chest, metal banded, half decayed. He checked for traps. None. The chest was heavy, fused shut with age and pressure. They marked it with a strobe and ascended for tools. Hours later, after decompression, rest, and recalibration, they returned. This time with lift bags, chisels, and cutters. The chest was pried free slowly, carefully. A crack in the lid allowed a sliver of its contents to spill out. Silver coins, still gleaming beneath centuries of weight. A single gold crucifix, ornately carved. Then, movement. Something shifted deeper in the cave. Not the divers, not the current, a shadow. One diver spun, beam arsing. Nothing, just rock and water. But the sonar pulsed again. Anomaly detected. Object 8 feet long. Moving. No fish swam here. No known aquatic life thrived in these mineral-rich, oxygen-starved depths. They froze. Then, the readings vanished. Cautiously, they signaled to ascend. The chest came with them, hoisted via tether to the surface through a pulley rig. It broke water with a splash, encrusted and cold. On land, the team crowded around as the lid was finally pried open. Treasure, coins, relics, inscriptions in Old Spanish and Latin, more crucifixes, a broken sword, a black velvet pouch disintegrated, revealing gemstone fragments, ruby, emerald, sapphire. Theories swirled, but the evidence was undeniable. Colonial Spanish treasure hidden in the Utah desert. But the mystery deepened. The Sonadrone's footage was reviewed frame by frame. One sequence, slowed to 0.1x, showed something strange. In the shadows behind the divers, briefly illuminated, an elongated shape. Organic, not rock, not equipment, possibly a creature. Legends spoke of it beneath Blind Frog Ranch. An entity guarding ancient secrets. Native lore warned of spirits. Others claimed remnants of forbidden science, hidden by those who trafficked in powers not of this world. The team debated. But the next day they returned. The cave welcomed them back like a mouth unfed. They dove deeper this time, past the chamber, into a tunnel previously unexplored. Silt clouds billowed with each kick. Air grew thinner. The walls closed in, then opened again. A second chamber. This one held no treasure, only bones. Human. At least 5 sets. Some centuries old. Some recent. Clothing fibers still clung to one, a diver's suit, decomposed but modern. The regulators nearby were crushed. Something had forced them inward. The team backed out. A scraping sound echoed, stone against stone. They turned. The entrance behind them was gone. No, the drone showed it still there, but something stood in front of it, obscuring the way. Large, unmoving, humanoid in silhouette. It didn't advance, just watched. The team retreated, hearts pounding, air supply ticking. When they returned to the surface, shaken and pale, the ranch owner demanded answers. They had found the treasure, but awakened something with it. The chest was secured in a vault. Authorities were notified, but nothing official was ever released. Weeks passed. The cave was sealed, but rumors leaked. Photos, a blurred sonar image, a coin sold on the black market, a diver who refused to speak. Some say the treasure came from a lost Spanish mission, a caravan robbed, killed, and their loot stashed by those who never escaped. Others claim it was far older, far stranger, connected to the energy anomalies of the ranch, the magnetic pulses, the ancient structures hidden underground. The sun rose over Blind Frog Ranch in slow gold slashes, cutting across the rugged terrain of eastern Utah. Dry desert air blew across cracked earth, junipers, and rusted equipment scattered near the dig site. All was still, but below the surface, hidden in the ancient rock, something waited. A circular depression lay at the north end of the property, partially concealed by undergrowth and collapsed earth. Beneath it, a subterranean cave system wound through the limestone like a secret artery. Water-filled, narrow, and untouched for centuries. The crew was already on site before dawn. No chatter, no ceremony. Just movement. Wetsuits were pulled on. Tanks checked. Fins, gloves, masks. Lead helmet lights flicked on with quiet clicks. A tether system unspooled from a reel, thick and luminous. High-res sonar was mounted on a waterproof drone, ready to map the terrain in real time. 4 divers. 1 mission. No words. The entrance was tight, half submerged, ringed with algae and shards of stone. One by one, they slid beneath the surface, swallowed by silence. Instant cold. Visibility dropped instantly as fins disturbed centuries of silt. Each diver activated their torches. Narrow cones of light illuminating twisted rock, submerged roots, and suspended debris. The cave narrowed, a serpent's throat of stone and pressure. Jagged stalactites reached down like claws. Air pockets formed on the ceiling, shimmering like mercury. Their lights danced along the walls, revealing strange discolorations, streaks of black mineral deposits, unnatural angles. 20 feet in, the floor dropped off. A vertical shaft, pitch dark. One diver signaled. Time to descend. 50 feet. 60. A wide chamber opened, dome-shaped and massive. The sonar drone floated ahead, casting blue pulses through the black water. Mapping grids appeared on their wrist displays, contours of walls, entrances, floor depressions. And then, an anomaly. A rectangular structure half buried in silt. Not natural. Too sharp. Too precise. One diver approached, slowly, deliberately. A flick of the hand swept away centuries of sediment. The sky over Blind Frog Ranch was a dull gray before sunrise. Sagebrush rustled softly in the wind. The desert was still sleeping. But below, in the dark veins of the earth, something ancient was awake. The dive team moved in silence. No chatter. No excitement. Just focus. 4 of them, all in black suits, tanks on backs, reels clipped to belts, dive computers glowing faintly in the pre-dawn chill. At the center of the ranch, tucked between boulders and overgrown brush, lay the opening. A vertical shaft barely wider than a barrel, half filled with cold, stagnant water. From above, it looked like nothing, just another sinkhole in the Utah desert. But it wasn't. One by one, the divers dropped in. Bubbles rose, then silence. The surface stilled, as if they had never entered darkness swallowed them. Visibility dropped to nothing. A single beam cut through the gloom, then another, then 2 more. White light on gray limestone. The walls pulsed with mineral veins and tangled roots. The cave twisted down like the throat of some fossilized creature. At 30 feet, the team reached the first shelf, a narrow ledge leading into a horizontal tunnel. The floor was thick with silt. Every movement steady.